Hello, this is Mike Goldenberg with some Abzan Company. I am on the draw with a pretty mediocre hand. Vizier is only good if I already have, maybe Finks or definitely with a Devoted Druid. So I have a turn 1 Noble. I can go turn 2 Eternal Witness, but there should be nothing in my graveyard at that point, so this is a mulligan. So this hand's much better. I do have not only a turn 1 play, but I also have a turn 2 Druid, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in game 1, because I generally just want to turn 2 Druid as often as possible. Okay, we're up against an island. It could be pretty much anything, but island into Aether Vial means this is Merfolk, or this is Spirits. So either way, I'm feeling okay with this matchup so far. So my game plan is going to be drop the Devoted Druid. Okay, Merfolk. Perfect. I'm going to drop the Devoted Druid and then go from there. So I drew the Temple Garden, which is the white source I need. So I'm just going to fetch for a basic here. Not attacking. If they somehow splash white for Reflector Mage, I will sacrifice Devoted Druid in response so I can play the other Devoted Druid I have for my hand. It's one really nice thing about Viscera Seer. Also, one really nice thing too is if I cord for Vizier and they kill the Devoted Druid somehow and be like Dismember or something, I can then just the following turn cord for Kitchen Finks and I still win that way too. I really like this new 1-drop from Merfolk. It kind of gives Merfolk a lot of what it was missing, which is the early plays. Yep, smash me for 5. That's fine. They might have a Spell Pierce here. So here's just a lot of clicking. I'll type in the chat just in case my opponent decides to concede, knowing that it's Ballista that wins the game here. Don't want to show this Shalai if I don't have to, although she probably is getting sided out here. I think once this gets going, I think this one's a little bit faster to dig. At least I like doing it more. So I need 40 mana. Opponent's making us go through it. Let's see if we can be at 20 minutes even by the time I'm done. I've only ever timed out once with this deck, and when I did, my opponent, I had Walking Ballista with 2 counters left and they were on 2 life, and I timed out. It's all because I took a bathroom break like earlier in the match. What are you doing, opponent? I like putting 1 extra if time's not an issue, just in case they have something weird. Another reason why I grabbed the Eternal Witness when I could, just in case there's something weird going on. Like a mainboard ceremonious rejection. You never know. It's if you have the opportunity, just grab it. Okay. Is opponent just trying to make me waste time here? Because now I'm not going to finish by 20. It's a little rude here. It's not like I'm a slow combo. We'll time it at the end, but I think I figured out it's like, if I'm uninterrupted, it's like 3 minutes at most. Do. Okay, so I took I took 20 seconds more. All right, we're fine here. 20 minutes left to clock. We used 5 minutes and 22 seconds of clock to win the game. Okay. So, I have a handy dandy sideboard guide, which anybody who's on the Discord, if you need an invitation, let me know. You can go to the Modern Creature Toolbox community. Under Articles and Resources, I have made public my Abzan company guide. So I'm constantly tweaking it. So here it is right here. I'll be taking out a Scoos. This is Rallier, but this league I'm trying out Cutting Rallier for a 4th Eternal Witness to combat Grixis Death Shadow and some Izzet Phoenix. I cut the Shalai, the Seer, 1 Seer, a Kitchen Finks, and an Eternal Witness. I bring in removal spells and Knight of Autumn. So I wrote, it's a slightly favorable matchup. Game 1, we just won a combo. In Game 2, we were forcing them to react to us since we have a faster Goldfish. The cards to wary of are Harbinger of the Tides, Merfolk Trickster, and Dismember. Try and save removal for Lords. Knight of Autumn comes in to hit Spreading Seas, Relic, and Cage. Okay, so that's the sideboard guide. As I've talked about before, I have a very fluid sideboard guide plan, which means I adjust heavily based on the matchup, based on how I think it's going to go, based on how my opponent's playing, things like that. So I prefer Path to Exile, and I like Abrupt Decay. I think I want... Might just bring in Trophy here, just have an extra out to Cage. Cut the Seer. I really like Eternal Witness, but I will cut one here. I think I will trim down like that. I like to trim one dork here. This looks fine to me. So I do have very fluid sideboard guides. I like sideboarding based on how the gameplay kind of goes. So if you notice when I wrote that, I wrote 4+ and 1+. I'm actually going a little bit heavier on the removal package based on the way my opponent played that. I have a feeling they're going to side heavily against the combo. So I can't keep this. There's nothing till really turn 4. If I had a Mana Dork in this hand, it's possible, but I can keep this. As long as I scry into something decent. This is not a great hand. Oh, there's something decent. Okay. Not much to do here except play the Noble Hierarch and pass. Next turn I'll play the Devoted Druid or the Knight of Autumn based on the situation. I'd rather get Druid down as fast as possible. This is also a matchup I talk about this quite a bit with Abzan Company, and it's one thing that I really like about the deck is we force opponents to respect our combo, which means that oftentimes opponents have to adjust, they have to sideboard accordingly, they have to respect it. So we get to play the proactive deck, they have to be reactive, which puts us at an advantaged position post-board, especially since we might even be siding out parts of the combo based on what we're expecting. And if that's the case, then... Okay, no blocks. If that's the case, then we are favored because we can dictate how the game is going to play around us. Okay. I'm not drawing anything here. I can Eternal Witness a land, but I really don't need land. I can Knight of Autumn just to gain some life and get a blocker. I think I'm going to do that. Just to give me a little bit of time to draw into a Collected Company here. So I was getting into reactive and proactive. Because we have a very fast Goldfish, most decks are forced to react to us. So Merfolk, if they play Solitaire, we should beat them 95% of the time. They have to interact with us, which means they have to slow down their own game plan to kill our Druid. And if they kill our Druid, well, I mean, we can grind them out with our own Path to Exile, Eternal Witness loops, or something like that, or even just Collected Company loops. So we can play a very grindy game, too. Them investing tempo to destroy our 2-mana threat means, in them being afraid of it, them having to maybe even mulligan for it, puts us at an advantage throughout the course of the match. Yep. So just having Knight of Autumn here is slowing their clock down a little bit by having them not attack with the Lord. Okay, they're holding 2 mana up, which means I think they have a mana leak. Not interested in attacking with my Knight of Autumn. I think it's more important to block here. I may be interested in blocking with Knight of Autumn and then rebuying it with Eternal Witness. Yeah, it seems like a fair game plan. It's important to wait to crack a fetch against a deck like Merfolk, because if I do it in combat, then their second mana they can drop Spreading Seas and just hit that land. Especially early. Now I have plenty of mana, they're not going to, but... Okay, so I have infinite mana. I just have nothing to do with it. Sure. Some cheeky untaps here. And I have a blocker with the Eternal Witness and potentially a second Druid. In a bad spot. I'm in top deck mode. I have been for pretty much this whole match. It's possible I should have mulliganed to 5. But I mean, I have had 5 turns to draw into something. And by something, I really just want to collect a company. Our opponent is slow playing though, which I kind of expected, which I've been talking about this proactive, reactive situation here. They held up 2 mana for that deprive for how many turns in a row? Really just to try to stop us from comboing off to slow us down. So in that same part, it's turn 6 now, and we're not dead, which has just given us plenty of time to wait and see. Do that, take 6, go to 4. That's fine. They have Mutavault, they can swing for lethal next turn, so I have potentially one more draw here. They're going to tap the Vizier. That's fair. It's a pretty good play. And more importantly, making it lose its type so these druids aren't super powerful. I'm assuming there's some sort of graveyard hate, so I don't think I want Walking Ballista in the graveyard. I think I'd rather have him in the deck. We have 3 Eternal Witnesses left, which means it's the same number we have of Duskwatch Recruiters left in the deck. So I think I'd rather just keep him in the deck and get an extra blocker. Okay, so I can block with everything but 1 Druid and 1 Vizier. And then I'm on top deck mode. Live draws would be Eternal Witness. We know we can't draw the Ballista because it's at the bottom of the deck. So we have to block everything but 1 Merfolk. And if they have exactly a Merfolk Lord in their hand at their violin, well, we're just dead anyway. I think we have enough blockers. Let's see. No, I think we're just dead actually, right? So I'm dead unless I block with the Druid. Okay, so now I guess my play is I have to draw into a collected company with a Sphinx and a Seer. Okay, so not in a good spot here. This could be over quick. Didn't draw particularly well game 2. I've mulliganed both games so far. Yeah. Too little, too late. Okay. Didn't see any grave hate, so I'm going to bring back a Sphinx. And cut a Knight of Autumn. I'm also switching the trophy out for a Path. Path's just more efficient, more effective here. 6 Dorks I think is fine. So we have 5 removal spells and 1 Knight of Autumn. Still have 3 Sphinx here, which looks great. I might want that 4th Sphinx. Something like that. Just didn't see any graveyard hate. Wow, this is just a more bad hands, huh? So So what I could do here is I could keep this, just path their first 2 threats, drop a Duskwatch Recruiter, and kind of sit on that and see if I can play that long game. We are on the play, so we have a little bit of tempo advantage there. This is not a good hand, but knowing it's a creature matchup, it's not terrible either. I think I'll try it. Duskwatch Recruiter is kind of nice, and I do have exactly 3 lands, so I can just keep ripping off his ability if I need to dig into more. Opponent mulligans to 6. And they put a card on top. Okay. So I'll be getting a Temple Garden. And then playing Duskwatch Recruiter. Kitchen Finks is a good draw here. Okay, so they have a Lord in their hand. I can either progress my mana and set myself up to draw into like a Collected Company next turn with playing the Hierarch. I can do like a Hierarch and Path. Or I can just play Kitchen Finks and pass. I can Chord for 1, which is kind of nice. I think I want to play Kitchen Finks and the next turn Chord for a Vizier and go that route and just need to find the Seer after that. And I have a path for their Lord, which is pretty nice. And I have a path for their next Lord, too. If my opponent attacks, the reason I didn't attack was I value my Duskwatch Recruiter higher than I value their Adept. I would not have blocked if they did attack. Okay. Now I get to pass, and I have 3 mana open for Duskwatch Recruiter. I also have Path mana open, and I have Chord mana open. So I'm pretty flexible here. The thing I would like to do is Duskwatch Recruiter dig for a combo piece, and then Chord for the second combo piece next turn. That's what I would like to do. Hey, if I win game 3 here, which I think I'm slightly favored to from this position, it's radically different than how I won game 1. Which is one thing I like about this deck, is that you have to play very, very differently in a lot of different situations. So then let's Chord. 1, 2, 3. Chord for 2. And that way I still have Path mana up. So on paper I'd win right now, but this opponent's probably going to make me play it out. I don't want Ballista. I have 2 paths in hand. I don't need more removal. I don't have infinite mana, so he's not even that big. Knight of Autumn's okay. I really just want to collect Collected Company, and then scry the Collected Company into a Devoted Druid. Perfect. While I have mana up and they're basically tapped out here, I will path the Lord of Atlantis. And actually path the other one too. Saw Deprive game 1, so while my opponent with 4 cards in hand, it's kind of likely they have some sort of stack interaction based on how they seem to attack me game 2. So I don't mind giving them the untapped land. I'd rather just be able to remove their threats. Sure. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, that doesn't do anything against me. Non-token. Oh, actually that does. Kitchen Finks would be non-token. Okay, so I guess I should have responded to that. So they can block the Kitchen Finks now. I have 6 mana, so I can't Duskwatch Recruit and Collected Company. I can attack with a 5/4, which if they lord it in, could be a little troublesome for me. I think I'll just pass. I have 11 minutes on the clock to beat them. I'm going to cast Collected Company on their turn, hopefully hit a Devoted Druid and a Eternal Witness buying back something. I don't even mind him flipping. I don't even mind a second Kitchen Finks just to keep my loop going through the Mistcaller. Okay, there's the Deprive. I correctly guessed who's in their hand. So I drew another Finks, so I don't mind losing 1. So I will attack like this. I'm just trying to be aggressive here. It's only 1 more point of damage if I just attacked with 1, but I'm kind of encouraging them to block and then sacrifice their Mistcaller here. Or I could just Gavney Township, actually. Then it doesn't die if they flash in a Lord. I think they're going to flash in a Lord if I Gavney Township. I think this is fine. Sure. Oh, I floated an extra mana by mistake. I always pay too much mana when I have this guy flipped. Another Deprive. Okay. Well. First time this game is not looking favorable for me. I just need to draw something here. My opponent has 5 cards in hand. Arguably should have gained more than 20 life. Just one of the unfortunate things about MTGO is, let's see, how much slower this interaction is here. The chess clock and the lack of being able to, sure, the lack of being able to just say, I have 10 million life, how are you going to beat that? I suppose I should have Gavnied there. I'm just kind of used to holding up mana here. So if I die and my opponent's at 1 life, this is on me. O-Class collected company on their turn. That's fine. See what I mean, though? My opponent has, so far, they just have had a hand of reactionary spells. And I've just been able to gain an advantage in a very fair way here so far. Gaining 20 life is fair. It should be 20 million, but yeah, why stop there? It should be 2 billion. 200 billion, something unreasonable. One time I gained like 500 life against a Jund opponent in real life. Just trying to be silly, I just said, 500. And they actually dealt like 300 damage that game. It was kind of funny. Looks like another deprive. Yep. Wow. That is the 3rd deprive. Okay. So I have, this costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I can drop Vizier. Oh, yep. Costs 1 less. So I can attack with a Noble Hierarch again. Just to kind of protect the Viscera Seer. Probably shouldn't have. So I could Path also. So I am kind of slow playing this. You can see that I'm not going to activate Gavney Township here. I'd rather have my creature untap. Because I do have 41 life, my opponent has 7, so... Sure. Targeting Vizier, that's completely fine. Just means if I top deck a Kitchen Finks, I can't win. Eventually I'm going to be at the point where I'm just going to attack with everything. I mean, arguably at that point now, but again, I'm slow playing this. I mean, they have to block or they die here. Yep. I don't actually need to play this. I'm going to keep it in my hand. So next turn I can attack with everything. If they kill any of my creatures, I get to scry 1, which is a huge benefit. No white, so there's no settle the wreckage or anything here. Okay. So opponent made us play out after we gained, I'm using quotes, infinite life. They also made us play out the combo game once. That's consistent with what we had to do. I think 41 life is reasonable to gain, to have against Merfolk. I could have just gained 100, and so that's fine. I wasn't expecting that, what is it called? Mist Collar? That's kind of neat. I did stop that first kitchen finks. I kind of baited that out so that I'd actually tried baiting it out with the collected company, but they had the deprive in hand. So this is a perfect example of what I've been talking about, the proactive and the reactive. Game 1, because we're so much into the combo and because we have such a fast clock, they have to be reactive games 2 and 3. They were very reactive game 2. We had a bad hand and we didn't draw very well. Even that said, we were still in that game. And then game 3 here, they reacted a lot with us. They cast more reaction spells than they cast Merfolk, right? 1, I'm going to call Mist Collar reaction. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and Tidebender's arguably a little bit of both. That's 5 and 5 split right there. Opponent still has 2 cards in hand, so they were forced to keep a hand that interacted with us, which maybe is why they mulliganed a perfectly good Merfolk hand, but wanted a deprive in there or a echoing truth so they could stop us or slow us down or interact with us so we don't have a turn 3 or turn 4 kill. Another reason why I love the deck. So that's game 1. I'll see you in the next one.